Gosh, I hope this works. Hi guys, welcome to the live. I am your host, Superwoman. I'm going to do a quick explainer. We actually are going to be doing a comic book read tonight. We're actually going to do Superboy Legion. I hope you guys are well. I have a huge story to tell you guys over what's been going on the last few oh my gosh, I guess this month. It's already May, you guys. So I hope you guys are well. Let me just... There we go. Okay. Well, I didn't want to do mirroring. So I have my little chair here tonight, but I wanted to maybe bring this down a little bit. Get my framing right. Okay. All right. We can kind of see. So it's so funny. I spend so much time in the beginning just trying to get the lives right. Hi, Dustin Walsh. Oh, this is my natural hair. Yeah. So people are like, oh, you wear so many wigs. So, hi, guys. So let me explain this cosplay, you guys. So, oh my gosh, this is like I'm recovering off of being, having a little bit of a cold, so you can still hear my sexy, raspy voice. And happy birthday again, Dandy Money Man. Taurus season is in full swing. I hope I'm not too nipply right now. I'm gonna try to hold myself like this. Yes. This is, I believe, the costume from the movie version of Supergirl. Oh my goodness, I forgot the actress's name, but she is a brunette in that. Supergirl is typically a blonde, and I usually have my blonde wigs. But tonight, I didn't want to put on the wig for this look because if you guys recall when I was reading you guys the Dan Mora illustrated comic book with Lois Lane, who became Superwoman for a time, and I forget what the reasoning was, but eventually she had to give those powers back. Now, I relate to Lois Lane a lot. However, one of my viewers was telling me, you know what'd be a cool cosplay, Rachel, if you did a female version of Clark Kent, Superman. So in an alternate universe, Superman, because typically, if you think about who Supergirl is, if you think about Supergirl herself, she's supposed to be the female counterpart to Superman, right? She's his cousin, all that kind of stuff. But if we think about our anima and animus, Samurai Ninja, hi you guys. So if you guys are familiar with Carl Jung and Ra, yes. Oh, my worship of the sun. I'll get you guys to let me show you guys my whole outfit. Let me do this. Turn this up a bit. There. Okay. So, I actually have my director's chair as well. So what we're going to do tonight, I don't have my stand here today. I'm going to have to tell you guys a personal story first. I'm going to bring this closer when we do the read. But we're going to do the preamble first. Loonturd. Oh, thanks, Danny Money Man. So this is my natural hair. I do have real hair, I do have some grays going on. And I just, hey, Maureen Landry. You guys are sweet. I hope I'm not. TikTok has not been favorable to me lately, you guys. Being like, oh, you're doing things that are inappropriate. Okay, so let me tell you guys. Book of Rao. Oh, yeah, you guys. So to all the Kryptonians out there in the house. Let's talk about the lore of Superman in just a sec. This is going to be the read tonight. Superboy Legion. We're not going to get through the full 100 pages, I really don't think, but very sweet. So thank you, Loonturd. You guys have been so... Let me tell you guys a very personal story and why I relate to Clark Kent. So I am from the prairie. So I'm currently in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm in my hometown. You guys, I have my tapestry up here. You can see my wolves. Oh, like, so I spent a lot of my life, you know, if there's nothing else to do out here in the prairies besides like work out, game in the basement, and drink copious amounts of like alcohol with your friends and party, right? So, Brockville, Ontario, Canada. Hey, hey. I love, so you guys know that Superman's creators were Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, right? And Joe Shuster is actually from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So there's this really strong tie between, you know, this connection between Canada and Toronto, specifically the Daily Planet, the star, like these motifs, the skyline, they even say is related. That being said, though, the character of Clark Kent, he grew up in like Smallville, right? Kansas kind of thing. This idea of like a small town farm boy who was raised right. And even though you have like this like alien DNA genetics, it's that combination is what makes him a hero, right? Kara has a bit of a different background in the sense of, oh my gosh, I should have brought a drink. I need to do this. Hold on, I might have to, we'll see how my throat catches, because I've been a little bit ill, you guys. Not, and Loonturn, nice to see you again, once again. Thanks, you guys. This is me in my natural form. All right, guys, so do you guys have a favorite version of Superman? Let's put it that. Let's start from there. So Superman's creation, I don't know if you guys remember like Canadian heritage moments, you know, where I'd be like, oh, a heritage moment, and on TV they would show like how the illustrator was like drawing Superman, and he's like, bye Lois, that kind of thing, because we name oh my gosh, I should have brought a lozenge. I don't want to do that. That's going to sound weird. Oh, for sure. Smallville is one of my favorites too. Who doesn't love Kristen Krug? She's in a great version of Lana Land. Oh my gosh, the dry throat. I'm gonna get some water. You guys, oh my gosh. Don't move. Okay, I'm back. I got myself a cup of water because I need to be. Who just ran by? A ghost, perhaps? I'm in like my old well, I'm out in the prairies right now, and recently escaped a really scary situation in Toronto. I'm not going to get into details just yet. We're going to have to deal with potentially some, I don't know. I don't want to get into like, it just, a lot of stuff was revealed to me lately about things like spiritual psychosis, actually regulated goods and services. What the heck? What regulated goods? This is water, you guys. I don't know. Fine. I can't. Okay, whatever. You know, last time they got mad at me for having the what was it? My empty glass of wine on the table, and they're like, "You're consuming illegal service." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm not trying to like promote anything." Oh, thank you. They don't like me very much. The algorithm doesn't like me very much. So let me tell you a story, actually. True story. Okay. Oh, I'm coming off of being a little, because road trips, whenever you travel, I don't know you guys, like your immune system tanks a little bit. So to bounce back from that can take a little bit. Oh, yes. Tojo, hi. How are you doing, my friend? Been a while. So, let me take you back, you guys. I'm going to tell you guys some true stories about myself. Pokey! Because I owe you guys also an explanation of why I dropped off the face of the planet. Now I'm back. And none of my wigs are here. So I had to like replenish one of them. I have Supergirl will be back tomorrow. We have a spring market here, down here. So I'm hopefully going to do that. Wait. I want to see if maybe I come back and remove the restriction. I'm kind of annoyed that it's saying that I was doing some sort of illegal activities. I was not. I was drinking water. I had to hydrate my throat. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. So, oh, gosh. I have so much to fill you guys in on. Where do I begin? Oh, my gosh. I've got the sniffles. I'm probably going to cry if I get into certain stories. I want to segue that into this as well, and like the importance of your dreams. I was doing harmful stuff to my health. Huh. Okay, weird. I don't know. Things have been consuming substances. I was drinking water, TikTok. You're tripping, man. Look. Is it because it's in a fancy glass? That's crazy. This is water, so I don't know, kind of funny. I'll leave it. It's okay. We'll leave it there just because it'll be comical. If you guys want to drop any gifts, that'd be great. I want to know if the restriction impacts it or not, because sometimes they go like, oh, it's restricted, in which case I'll come back and start. So what we're going to read tonight, Samurai Ninja, thank you. So what we're going to read tonight is this. Oh, you guys, it seems like it's all working. So yay. So we'll keep going. I'm not going to stop and start because, yeah, sometimes it's like we've suspended gifting because of your community guidelines. And also, too, TikTok gives me extra gifts when I don't have restrictions. It's like, if you've been a good girl, Rachel, you know. So thank you guys. Okay. Sniffle, sniffle. Let's begin. Okay, welcome to the Cosmic Comic Book Club, my friends. I am Rachel Z. I love comic books. They have been a way for me to deal with my own personal mental health, my emotional self, as well as myself coming back to myself being a writer. So, who am I cosplaying as tonight? As I was putting this on, I was like, you know what? I don't have my like space Supergirl hair to do kind of almost like a Power Girl kind of situation. I instead have my purple eyes on, my natural brunette hair, and kind of like my Superwoman outfit that Lois was wearing. So I was like, okay, I'll be Superwoman because realistically, I first moved out to Toronto over 20 years ago because I wanted to become a broadcast journalist, just like Lois Lane or like April O'Neil, right? And if we think about news anchors, it's like anchoring in a timeline, right? When you're watching the news, if you still watch the news, or anyone who's talking about reality, right? You are storytelling what we perceive of as real, right? So the difference between that and comic books is that in comic books, of course, we're talking about the imagination realm, right? However, the imagination realm is no less important than this material realm. They need each other, right? There can sometimes be this over overemphasis on either the material or the immaterial plane, right? There's this idea of like some of us live in our heads a lot. Like myself, I am a big dreamer, right? I could just sit, daydream, be lost in a book. I can be like, I don't need anybody for like hours on end. But then I will go through periods of time where I do need socialization time to share the stories that I love so much, right? Oh, Maury Landry. Okay. Oh, yes, I need to tell you about the disappearance. Hold on, I need to blow my nose first. I was also a little bit under the weather, you guys. That's also why, like, I can't read you guys comic books when I sound scratchy and can't talk. Be right back. Hold on. Much better. Okay. Oh, I'm feeling like a lot better lately, actually. So, okay, my disappearance. I have to go back to why I first moved out to Toronto in the first place to explain it properly. So, I've told you guys in the past, if you guys have been a long-time viewer and watcher and supporter, thank you. But I've talked to you guys before about like my mother being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, right? And then I just kind of like put that aside for a long while. But since writing my book and going through memories, my little sister reminded me of this diagnosis, of which she never really received therapy for, right? And if you're not familiar with BPD, it's part of a cluster of personality disorders that include things like narcissism, OCD, things like that. I do think any of those disorders are far more complicated than what mental health gives credence to, because you're oftentimes talking about symptoms as opposed to like, how should I put this? If you are depressed because something has happened in your life, like your favorite companion has passed away, that's a normal reaction, right? We should have the space and time to be able to deal with grief, right? Now, when it becomes chronic depression, or when we end up being like, oh, I feel sad for no reason, of course, we can kind of look at that as being like, oh, well, that's not normal. But when I went to school for psychology, a big thing I learned was that the terms like normal and like crazy, they're so problematic. Like it's all your perspective. And so just like in comic books, like who the villain is and who the hero is kind of dependent on who's telling the story. So that's a side tangent. I know I went off on my disappearance. So I grew up in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm here. I'm home right now, right? My dad is South African. My mom is Filipino. My dad was a professor in computer science. My mom, they met in the Philippines, and then they moved here, and then like I was born in 1985, right? Mid-80s. Now, my mom, for me growing up, it's taken me a long time to come to terms with this, because any of you that have had to deal with traumatic things in childhood know about doing things like disassociation, right? So, where you just leave your body, where you're like, or like in class, right? Where you're like, I'm bored. I'm gonna go over here in my head, right? So trauma, or if you're going through something very traumatic, just so your psyche can be protected, you'll just disassociate, just like I'm not even here, right? So when it comes to memories, right, we can sometimes, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Dr. Sleep with Ewan McGregor, right, which is like the follow-up to The Shining. I know the kids who shine, if you're very psychically open, if you're very empathic, if you're very aware of all the frequencies that exist, right? All the stuff that goes unsaid when someone's talking to you. It's how we can detect things like sarcasm, or when someone's joking, or when someone's taking it too far. All those things are like little nuances in speech and stuff. So, but generally, yeah, mental health awareness. Now, I will say this though, right? Like, mental health does not necessarily also consider things like, spiritual health, your connection to the planet, to the divine, to the woo of all things, right? The concept of like, perhaps if us as human beings are disconnected from Mother Earth's frequency for too long, we become ill, right? Or no different than how if we're not in sync with ourselves and our own body's needs, or in homeostasis, we end up expressing things. Now, I was a kid growing up. My mom was awful to me. I'm not going to get into all the details of all that kind of stuff, but it hit a certain point in my life where my grandfather was passing away of Alzheimer's. That was one thing. And then at the same time, my mother basically like cheated on my dad, ruined the whole family. My boyfriend broke up with me at the time and then was graduating from university. So I didn't stay for graduation. I left. I came to Toronto. I took I went to York University. I did a whole little like intensive, I guess, on broadcast journalism. And that's where this Lois Lane thing comes into play, right? Because I read somewhere once about how Clark Kent, Superman, loves Lois Lane. And through his love of Lois, he also loves all of us Earthlings, right? It's like how when your parents fall in love, like how I'm from two different lineages, you all of your ancestors also fall in love, right? A union of great houses, right? A celebration of what that means, right? So I was always the type of person who, when heartbreak hits, it would hit hard, right? I couldn't, like my first boyfriend, when he broke up with me, it was like, I couldn't move for days. And I was like, does everyone feel like this? And I don't think so, right? I think, like I was talking to my little sister about this, and I thought that since that, we're sisters, perhaps we process emotions in the same kind of way. But she's like, no, I'm much more like her dad, Rachel. I'm much more logical and stoic and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't mean you don't feel things. It's just like, just because you don't cry doesn't mean you don't feel sad, right? Or like maybe you look around and you do feel sad, but you don't cry, but your way of showing it is just different. And just because you're not showing something on the outside doesn't mean that a whole bunch of other stuff isn't going on the inside. And yes, everyone needs help, right? It's like, Pokey, you were right. I fell asleep after D&D last night. D&D for my mental health has been such a, it's been so good for me. I took last week off, and I'm going to explain my disappearance now. So I have for a long time I ran away from Winnipeg because of a lot of duress. So I didn't have a plan. I kind of was like, okay, maybe I'll become like a news anchor in the big city. And I didn't bank on the fact that, it's like I didn't understand the fact that the big part of journalism is storytelling, right? And you're telling the stories of your community. And I wasn't familiar with Toronto, right? I only knew Toronto from Much Music and Electric Circus. So I had this concept of Toronto that wasn't necessarily what it was like to live here, right? So when I met my husband, It was at a gym in downtown Toronto at Yonge and Dundas called Extreme Fitness, which then became Good Life Fitness. And it's now Five Guys and Fries, which shows you how the culture of Toronto has changed, right? But we met there as we were both personal trainers. We got ready for shows together, all that kind of stuff. But the gym was really realistically my way of my therapy. It was my communion with my body. It was because my mom was so critical of everything. She would constantly say she hated me, constantly call me fat, constantly call me ugly, like it was no big deal, right? And I was just a little kid. And if you know anything about BPD, when rage hits, when these emotions hit, you go into fight or flight, you don't remember anything, right? So lots of terrible things can happen in this like rage, but it's all considered fair game because morality's out the window when your survival's at stake, right? It doesn't make it okay, but in that rage of like, whatever, that happens. And that's why like martial arts, dance, these different practices, like even like meditation, religion, praying, whatever that is, getting aligned, retuning yourself when you get out of whack and you're misinterpreting the situation. Like, I've been married a long time. I have misinterpreted many things my husband has done as like an offense when he was just like, I was just hungry. I'm like, oh, I thought you were like insulting me. So at the gym, yoga, yes. So Katie, find, the ring. There's a story about that for another time. My wedding ring is aside right now. I'm always hungry. And I'm a Taurus, baby. I live for naps, cuddles, good food, wine, sappy movies, video games till like 3 a.m. with my besties. I've been from BC, I know. My little sister lives in BC now. She considers that her home, even though she was born here. She loves the mountains. Kind of makes sense, though. She's got a lot of Capricorn energy in her. Now, my disappearance was because I worked in corporate. So I moved to Toronto, met my husband. We started a life, right? So I became a trainer. I compete in fitness a lot, too. I went to Vegas. I was like flex bikini model search. I did like a bunch of Kokanee Glacier Girl stuff. I did a lot of like calendars, import modeling. I knew Tila Tequila before Tila Tequila got all crazy. She was such a pretty girl. Oh, what happened to you, girl? Tila, come on. Same thing with Britney Spears. And this all goes to show that like there's such a stigma about mental health. Like we're okay with like pointing and laughing at the fact that Britney's shaving her head, not realizing that's a cry for help, obviously, right? Like if someone was like well-adjusted and happy, is that something they would do? Probably not. And I think a lot of these girls could have just used a really good friend, to tell them, be like, girl, that Kevin Federline guy, I know he's a great dancer, probably great in bed, probably not the best husband material, and I'm just saying this because I love you. It's just, I have always been a girl's girl, grown up with like the best girlfriends ever. And I think that's the way, like, when you have like your hand is dealt, right? And so I didn't have a great mom, but I had the best girlfriends ever growing up, and they had really great moms. So in all, we try to, we get certain hands and certain suffering is dealt to us, I find, in order for us to hone our character. And it's why I love Superman. And so in this cosplay, I would say that I'm playing as like Clara Kent, like if Clark Kent was female in another universe. Not as Supergirl, even though that's like the counter, right? But truly from an archetype, what that means. Because Supergirl and Superman are very different because they have a lot of conversations about how Supergirl remembers Krypton, right? She remembers like having friends and family, and she has memories of Krypton. And so when she comes to Earth, she doesn't really have loyalty to the planet, like as opposed to Clark, who finds out that he's not really an Earthling, right? He finds out that he's Kryptonian. And so he only knows about Krypton via, let's say, the Fortress of Solitude and the crystal stuff, and his his real biological parents giving him like messages. And so, but he himself doesn't have any experience of it. So it's a different kind of feeling, which I relate to, right? This idea of feeling like I don't really fit in here, right? I don't quite, like, I can't do this thing the way other people do. Like, even when I work the corporate world and I climb the corporate ladder, my last corporate job was international relationship manager for digital for KPMG at like 33 Bay Street downtown, right? And people didn't understand how I was like doing that plus personal training still. So the whole time I was working corporate, I still took clients, right? Oh my gosh, watch. TikTok's gonna say that this is like, it's water, you guys. Water of life. Now, I say this just because, like, I grew up in the prairies, and as someone who is like, half Filipino, half South African, it's not like you really look like anyone else, or you are like anyone else, or anyone can really relate to you. As well as my parents didn't really speak each other's language, so I just went to books, right? And oh yeah, high quality. You guys, I love you guys too for who you are too. All Asian, but I'm only half Asian, right? And my sister, she gets so offended if you say that she looks Filipino. Like, and I know why. It's because of our mom, right? So your mom imprints this like certain version of whoever, right? And because she was so terrible, like I got the defective Filipino mom. Like there's nice Filipino moms out there. They've been nice to me, but she wasn't. Oh my gosh. Oh. So anyways, hey, thanks, Jaylene. I am still Asian, but I'm also still South African, right? And I'm also still born in Canada. I was born right out here. And so people think I'm Métis a lot. We went and had to leave. Oh yeah. Well, ideally here, the beautiful thing about the prairies is that there's the space to breathe, the space to stretch your roots, the space to do all that stuff. So me and my friends used to lay in the middle of fields, right? Our heads all together in a circle, look up at the sky, and like just tell stories to each other, right? So that, for all children, for all of us, is kind of like our birthright to dream, right? To dream, to imagine, to foresee a way that we can live together in a harmonious kind of way, at least, right? I haven't been able to get my organization, and let me leave. I'm gonna start the comic book read actually, just so I can actually get part of it going. But my disappearance was caused by I don't know how I want to call it. I don't know if I want to reveal too much just yet, other than to say that I had to basically run an escape mission with my little sister to get my hubby and my doggo away from a narcissistic parent who manipulated us and a lot of stuff, told us a lot of lies, made us believe a lot of things about people that weren't true, and turned on us. And I don't want to reveal too much yet because I may have to press criminal charges. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens to our property, because we had to leave a lot of stuff behind in the escape, and myself and my hubby have had to just kind of be like, you know what, if it's destroyed, these are just things as long as we're okay, right? Both psychologically and physically. And then I also realized that, like, in telling my story, I can also bring a lot of light to people who are perhaps suffering in the same kind of way and maybe don't have the resources to leave, right? You're stuck by weaponized pain, weaponized incompetence, weaponized victimhood. This was very recently. Yeah. I was always planning on having my birthday party here in Winnipeg, right? Having a big basement party, inviting all my friends, my dragon warriors, inviting you guys if you wanted to come and crash, like building a little some guest houses here so you could film stuff here. I can start to build a studio. But in the meantime, we were staying with my hubby's family member who I thought was like an ally, but I don't know what happened. He had like a very like a psychotic break because of stress, and I get a lot of stuff happen like when you go through a lot of trauma, grief, and there's just like a lot of alcohol involved, and he like it was very scary. I had to, yeah, it was very scary. It reminded me of a lot of stuff that happened when I was a kid with my mom. And then I just realized, I was like, oh wow, it's so crazy how you can be manipulated. I don't know, like when you're empathetic, like, and people tell you victim stories and you don't realize that people would lie to you because you're like, I wouldn't lie. Why would someone lie to me? Right? That's all I needed. Oh, thanks, Marian. I read the play. Oh, thank you. Oh, Dark Rider, thank you so much. And King Mac, thank you. Oh, hi, Gwen Stacy. I don't believe the story for some reason. Let's see. I want to go back up to not him. Tell me before bed. Yes, but I haven't been able to. So it's just been a lot of like realizing, like I told my D&D guys this last night. I'm like, you guys, just come to terms that like my mom's kind of evil and she's been doing a lot of stuff to manipulate me just because of like I had a trauma, like because of my childhood trauma stuff, and like it's just taken me a long time to kind of like be strong enough to speak my truth. And just like how like in The Little Mermaid, she gave up her voice to the evil sea witch, and then that evil sea witch uses her voice to try to like trick the prince. It's just like, I have to take my voice back and speak the truth. So that being said, we did the same. Yeah, exactly. So the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off, right? But a lot of people do have an uncomfortable relationship with their own shadow. And like, yeah, my shadow behind me, right? I very recently reintegrated my past self with my current self, right? So as you guys know, I used to have like platinum blonde hair, right? This is all my natural hair. I haven't had it not dyed, not anything since I was 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, I lost my friend Cody in a car accident. I wrote a poem to him. I found a lot of old stuff when I was looking through my room and stuff, but I miss you, Cody. But Cody was like a farm boy, right? And, like you drive without a license and stuff. And I remember he used to like pick me up outside of like my house. And like, when that happened, it was in 2001. And it was actually like, I think about 2 months after 9/11 had happened. And 2 weeks before that, Aaliyah died. And I loved Aaliyah because Aaliyah so I don't know, it was just so hard for me at 16 to conceive that this was like reality. And I think I broke a little bit inside. And then my mom started to do all this stuff. So that girl, I was like, you know what? When I moved to Toronto, I'm like, forget her. I'm going to be blonde. I'm going to be completely not the straight A student. I'm the nerdy, whatever. I'm going to be a go-go dancer, bombshell, bartender, all that kind of stuff. So, but they're both still me, right? And so me finally coming back to me is like realizing, like integrating all of those parts of you, right? So to all of you guys out there who are working on doing the same, I wish you all good fortune to finding that hero within, realizing that your pain is your power, right? That suffering purifies the soul. It is not in vain. You can make it through the other side, because I've been through some dark ass ish, and you know what? People come through when you really need them, right? You just have to find your voice and call, right? The beacon. Like, how am I supposed to find you if I can't hear you, right? Or like, I need something to work with if you need me to come get you, okay? So be careful. Oh, thank you. Oh, you guys are very sweet. So, yelling is never okay, you guys. And, it was just something that I realized, like, from an observation from, when you get into intimate relationships with people, it's easy for people, like, how do I put this? Your inner circle, your intimate relationships, who you let into that, no one deserves to abuse access to you in that way, right? You don't need to insult you, all these guys. There's ways of fighting fair, right? You can get heated and intense and still fight fair and have that conflict be something where you both learn something, because oftentimes, most times when me and hubby have gotten into fights, it's a misunderstanding, right? So if we don't give each other the space to clarify, a lot of stuff goes unsaid and a lot of things can kind of come in there. I use superhero examples in AA meetings all the time. Joe Martin, good for you going for AA. Like, that's what I mean. All we can do in our character arc is do our best. Doesn't matter how deep, dark it gets. That's why I love comic books. Doesn't matter how, like, end of reality is all of this stuff. Guess what? The good guys still always win. How do they pull that off, right? Pretty great. Yeah, so that's the thing about women as well. No one gets a free pass. A lot of things can happen in that emotional state, right? So, oh my gosh, I'm getting nuclear. I'm gonna put the heat back on soon. So let's get into the read so that I actually can like start reading something. All right, I'm gonna bring this closer because I didn't want to go too late just yet. We were supposed to do a music live, but I got like, time's been so crazy for me. Let's go this way. The good guys don't win that one. Maybe not yet, right? Like, I mean, a lot of sci-fi stories can end on like a dark note, right? But I've always been the type of person who someone's got to believe in miracles, right? The deus ex machina, pray for a miracle. That's a whole other, and men both have cycles. That's a whole other conversation. Okay, yeah. I am excited about this new Supergirl movie. I'm sad that it's gotten like some comments that Millie has made about not liking women in power, or like this kind of like hate for it. I'm like, that's not true. Supergirl's a very beloved character, Millie. You should be able to stand by it, but I always hope for the best, you guys. I guess it's just me. So let's get into the read. We're gonna read Superboy, the Legion. So I really do love the Legion of Superheroes. Dandy Money Man, thank you so much. I'm just hoping I'm not super nipply. I don't need another restriction on me. I can't sit in the chair so high. Oh, this is my director's chair. Yeah, and also too, I have my wolves behind me. It's cool. It's cold there. Yeah, I usually had the heater on, but it was kind of making a lot of noise, and I didn't want it in the way. And I usually have like pasties on to help with it, but I was under duress leaving again. So the universe has a way of making you move, right? It is always about a season of change and how you are able to roll with the punches. Let me see if I can light a little. There. Let's hope I can actually see this. I'll try to. That's how I ruined my eyes in the first place, reading in low light, you know? Oh, goodness. Let me get that. That might be better. Let's see. I don't have my other tips for tomorrow. I'll try to go earlier tomorrow. Okay. The cape. Oh my goodness. That's the thing. One thing I will say though, I do love Melissa Benoit. I think that's how you say her name, Benoit. The CW Supergirl. She's an awesome Supergirl. Like, I really love her version, like girl next door kind of thing, like your bestie kind of thing. I do need you, Pokey. Don't trust me. I need you. I want to be able to afford you. Okay, so DC Comics presents Superboy Legion 100-page spectacular. Dun dun dun. My gosh, Rumpelstiltskin. You know, whenever I hear Rasputin, I always think of like Rumpelstiltskin, and that's not the same thing at all. Okay. The year, what is this? 2987. The Diadem Asteroid Belt. R.J. Brand, the galaxy's richest man, makes a rare off-world journey. Let's see here. Damn it, Marla. You'd better have a good reason for dragging me out here. Relax, Renee. I have. Green kryptonite, worthless since it's radioactive. Wait, it's radioactivity laced. Not that, old friend, but something else that survived the destruction of Krypton. What is this? I was gonna say a life god. It says a life pod. Its flight data suggests it was heading for Earth before it crashed here 1,000 years ago. Hello. I'm reading Superboy, Legion of Superheroes, as Lois Lane, Superwoman, back in my hometown, or I could be like the female version of Superman, right? Frieza, yes. Okay. Before it crashed here 1,000 years ago, and inside a dormant gestation unit, something is alive in there. My God, it's a baby boy. Welcome to Metropolis in the year 3001. I always like these like futuristic shapes, right? So this is Metropolis in the future, the 30th century, my friends, which the Legion is from, the future, right? And if you were around when we were talking about Doomsday Clock, they talk about how like the convergence of when like this timeline like catches up to that future timeline. So anyways, welcome to Metropolis in the year 3001. Capital of Earth and center of intergalactic commerce, seen by many as the utopian ideal, a crime-free Eden where sentiments from all over known space converse to work peacefully under the all-protective care of the supercomputer Universo. I don't know. Do you guys know about Universo? I almost had it. I have your back. Just thank you, Maury. I appreciate that. It's so much more. I'm finally in a place where like my nervous system can finally like regulate. I can get myself back. I have some friends here in Winnipeg as well. So I am in Winnipeg. I'm gonna be out and about doing my thing. And I will be back in Toronto late May, early June doing stuff as well. So I'm trying to like organize that between things. And I'm really wanting to be a summer camp counselor here in like the community here. and teach like dance classes and some drama. So tomorrow I'm gonna go check out the community center and like talk to them and see if they're down for it. I'm not above it. I wouldn't mind doing that. The year 3001. Hold on. We are currently in the 21st century. 31st century. You're correct. Wait. Would that be... Oh, you might be right. Wait, 3001. No, 3001? Would that be true? Oh, dear. Okay. You're being very Aquarius right now, Pokey. That's such an air sign thing you're doing. My hubby would do a similar kind of thing. It's kind of funny. Okay. Metropolis. Oh wait, Metropolis's vast streets teem with people confident in their prosperous futures as the new millennium begins. Their security is ensured by the same guardians who patrol the ever-increasing areas of space that subscribe to Universo's technology. The Science Police. I actually don't like the Science Police. And the Science Police and the Legion, I feel like don't necessarily always get along. And the Legion are like a group of teenagers. Fun fact, the X-Men actually get their origins, like they were inspired by the Legion of Superheroes. Okay, the Science Police. Da-da-da. Their watchful gaze protecting against any sign of criminal behavior. Whoosh. Most of the time. Quick, Tony, save me. Ah. Sorry if I scared you, Tony. Only I'm really late. So Superboy has arrived, right? Da-da-da. Me as a boy. Yes. Sorry if I scared you, Tony. Only I'm really late for a meeting with my dad, and I need a peace offering. Superboy? Don't let the Science Police hear you call me that, or you'll be in as much trouble as I am. Oh, no problem. But maybe you should take care of that first. Uh-oh, I'd better clean it up quickly. Too late. You've done enough, Citizen Brand. Universo has already dispatched repair crews, and your latest antisocial actions have been filed. I don't know, these Science Police sound kind of like totalitarian. I'm glad I got to pronounce that properly. You never learn, do you? And then, while that's happening, the guy he saved is like, here's some ice cream. 2 serious swirls, Cal. Thanks, Tony. Put them on my tab. My dad will pay. As he does for everything else. Now, observe the speed limits. Will be watching. Brand Industries headquarters. Are you threatening me, Leto? Of course not, Mr. Brand, but if your son's behavior worsens, the SP will have no other option. So I don't know why he's calling him dad. So Superboy has a dad in the 31st century, Pokey, to see. So let's take a look at the panels up close. So you have, he's like, oh, I helped. But then the Science Police came and he's like, let them hear you talking to me because, you know. Oh, let's not tell everyone about that. I have some birthday stuff to talk about tomorrow when I'm truly Supergirl. This is like a different version to celebrate me coming back. Let me go back to my chair. Oh, my dad will be 70 next year on our birthday. Oh, 15. That's cool. That's a big milestone. Gwen Stacy, I hope you celebrate for it. Oh my gosh. Wait. Do you have the same birthday as your dad, Gwen Stacy? You guys share a birthday. That's cool. That's very cool. I feel like that means something. But even if you share the same birthday, your astro's not exactly the same, but you're going to share some cool things. My grandmother's 1000. My granny, she was gonna come up. Oh my gosh. Look. There. I drank that cup of water off screen so they don't think that it's something illegal again. Okay. Thanks, Toady. Put them on my tab. So like this guy is his dad, I guess. Can they do that, Marla? Sadly, RI, yes. For brand industries to be disconnected from all power utilities is unusual, but entirely legal. Oh, what is this? I need to make sure I'm not a bot. Not a bot. The boy continues to make unregistered interstellar flights. Need I remind you how dangerous his unique powers make him to law-abiding space users? Cal's no threat, my God. He's like any 14-year-old. Too much energy. That's all. And hormonal, more than likely. We realize that since the death of your wife and the manifestation of Cal's powers, he's become a bit of a handful. Interesting. So, the offer to place him in the SP Cadet Academy still stands. Oh, they want to control his energies. Too rambunctious, right? Hi, Dad. Hi, Commissioner. Ah, Master Brand. Talk of the devil. Please, Commish, call me Superboy. We'll have less of that attitude, son. Now I want a straight answer. Have you been off planet again? Have you been off planet? Well, yesterday I flew out to the Libra Nebula. Is that a problem? It's dangerous, son. You've been warned before, but you refuse to listen. Well, I was bored. Thought no one would notice. What? With no spaceship and in that ridiculous outfit, this fixation with 20th century superheroes has got to stop. If you don't start taking responsibility for your actions, all I've worked for will be lost. Millions of jobs will vanish. Years of research wasted. I don't know if he's really his dad. I feel like I don't know the background of this. It's kind of crazy because I actually read Legion of Superheroes, like this reference copy, which I need to get from my library, which is actually under threat of being torn down. But I'll bring it on. Oh, Katie, have a great night. Until next time, my friend. Thank you for joining. Lots of love. Okay. What? With no spaceship and in that ridiculous outfit, this fixation with 20th century superheroes has got to stop. If you don't start taking responsibility for your actions, all I've worked for will be lost. Millions of jobs will vanish and years of research will be wasted. I will not let that happen. Once I was proud to call you my son. Now I can't begin to tell you how disappointed that makes me. What the heck? Like, who's this guy? Who are you? You don't really look like Jor-El. So, oh, thanks, guys. This is my natural hair. No wig today. Tomorrow, Supergirl will be back. I'm Lois, Superwoman, with my powers back for like 2 seconds to read you guys this story. And Conjura, thank you again. And Exotic Joey, thank you for following. Okay, so this guy who's his dad, Superboy's dad, is like, oh, you're like obsessed with 20th century superheroes. You have to stop fixating on them. You look ridiculous in the outfit. I'm disappointed in you. And he's like, okay, old weird guy with mustache. I don't see how me trying to be a superhero has anything to do with your research. Like, your reputation, but whatever. But you know, like any one of you guys who, like, I can relate to this, being like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you. I thought you were better than this. Like, I thought you would be proud of me trying to, like, forge my own path, man. Okay. A small instant of parental tragedy or a flash of authoritative triumph. Neither perspective could foresee the momentous events that would result from one boy's incredible odyssey. It's not fair. I tried really hard to stick to their rules, but the SP still pick on me. I have got to face facts. My powers make me too different. I will never fit in on Earth. Oh, hey, JR, thank you. That's appreciated. I feel like that deserves a little, like, some sort of, like, superhero kind of situation. I know I've been gone for a while, guys, but I'm back, and not to worry, I'm in full force. I do not have all of my cosplay with me at the moment, but I'm going to do my best to be a lot more live for you guys. So more updates on me in, like, my natural form. So lots of love, you guys. I love you, Mama said. Oh, I'm sorry, Gwen Stacy. And I did not mean to worry you, my girl. I always come back, you know. Yeah, I always come back. Oh, upstairs. So realistically, you know, if I'm Lois, I love you, Superman, right? In all your forms. It's also the concept of what it means to be that archetype, right? Big red. All right, let's continue on. I don't want to go too late because I'm still recovering from being a little bit under the weather. So, damn. Okay. Oh, you guys have a great night. Oh, Boom Chicka Wow, thank you. I've missed you too. I'm reading you guys like a little, like, my newest. I do love the Legion, you guys, because I know you guys, like, we are the future that our ancestors dreamed about, right? So, like, it would be kind of cool in this lifetime to kind of have some cool stuff happen, you know? I do need more uppies. Okay, so we're in the 31st century, 3001. Superboy Cal is basically in conflict with the space police here in the future of Metropolis because, you know, I feel like superheroes are always vigilantes because, like, you're operating on a morality compass that, you know, sometimes the law is not necessarily just, right? And so when that happens, like the Bat family commonly, like when you play Gotham Knights as Batgirl, you go into, like, any of, like, the Gotham, like, PD thing, they're always trying to, like, attack you. So it's like, I'm here to help you, right? But at the end of the day too, like, my little sister, like, she loves Superman a lot, and she loves DC almost religiously. Like, she doesn't really like Marvel a lot. I like stories, so I'm not, like, a purist when it comes to things. She also doesn't necessarily like sci-fi a lot. But I told her, I was like, listen, you know that, like, Superman's an alien, right? So technically the whole story is kind of sci-fi. But it's funny, like, it's more from an explanation of powers perspective because there's something really special about the fact that Kryptonians don't have powers on Krypton. That the only place that Cal has these extraordinary abilities is, like, because of the radiation of this yellow sun. So it speaks to something special about this place in, you know, the universe, in the cosmos, in the galaxy, right? Okay, so poor Superboy, he's like, okay, my powers make me different, I don't fit in, all that kind of stuff, which I'm sure many of us can kind of relate to, right? My powers make me too different. I will never fit in on Earth. My dad thinks I'm a, what is this, a waster? I actually played that in my like crossplay game against my sister today. It's funny. My dad thinks I'm a waster, but I'm lost. So he's been out flying through space because he's like been emotional, but now he's like lost out in space. I'm lost. I've flown too far and too fast. No, wait. I recognize a couple of, what's this? Cephids? Oh, I guess the stars. Use the stars for navigation, right? I have been here before, but over 1,000 years ago, Krypton, my homeworld, once stood here. Wow. So it's like, I actually visited New York City before I moved to Toronto about like 2007, and I got to see like ground zero, like just the empty area where like the two towers once stood, right? And it's like a similar situation, like if you've ever gone anywhere where once something stood and now it's no longer. And so Krypton, he's like in this part of space where Krypton once existed and is like now no longer there. Krypton, my homeworld, once stood here. All those lives, the possibilities, gone forever, leaving only me. Lighten up, Cal, before, huh? A flash of light out here? It could be someone in trouble. I don't know, that's ominous green light. If you guys have seen like heavy metal with Tarna, like I don't know, could be Kryptonian. I was about 20, yeah. So it was like, because my bestie, she was going to Alvin Ailey out in New York at the time, living her best life out in Harlem. So I visited her for like a month before I moved out to Toronto. And then it gave me this false perception of what big cities were like. So Toronto and New York are very different big cities, right? Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. So +6. Yeah, exactly. 22. Yes. Because I met my hubby in 23. So the summer before I moved to Toronto. That tracks. Because he's 2 years younger than I am. So we met when I was 23 and he was 21. And then we got married when I was 30. And then I'm now 41. So we spent a lot of time together. Okay. Continuing onward. So he's like, he thinks he's lost, but then he recognizes the stars and realizes this is where Krypton used to be. All those lives, all those possibilities, gone forever, leaving only me. Lighten up, Cal, before, a flash of light out here. It could be someone in trouble. It looks like a job for Superboy. And we out. Because you gotta go where trouble calls, right? And the green light is actually the Green Lanterns. Oh my gosh, so fun. I could actually have been Jessica for this. Surrender, Kund vessel. Continued resistance is pointless. Your intergalactic smuggling of endangered canoids stops here. Stubborn fools, too stupid to know when they're beaten. Tut tut, no fair. Need a hand? Who are you? I'm Superboy of Earth. Well, thank you for your assistance. Hold on. Oh my gosh, I need a drink. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna call it. Okay, guys, I think my throat has had it. I need to like tap out. Oh my gosh. And I can't drink more water because I drank all the water in my cup, and they already gave me a restriction for drinking water on, on the live, and it truly was water. So I will continue this next time. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not, but I will have an updated live schedule very, very soon. Thank you all for joining me for this, my comeback tour as Superwoman, the last daughter of Krypton. Well, not really, because I kind of played as like Lois Lane situation, a little version. And I will DM you, Pokey, promise. I will rest. I gotta rest my throat, but this was like, I need to come live, you guys. I've missed you guys so much. So thank you so much. I will be back very soon. Tomorrow, I will probably be live more in the daytime. We're going to do a little walk over to the spring market here outside. And I will be back as Supergirl, classic Supergirl, Kara Zor-El. And we're going to read a really cool story about dreaming. And I think you guys know this, but like in DC, they do a lot of stuff with like dreams, and it's also like a way of dealing with certain parts of reality, right? Because Supergirl, for a lot of the Legion stuff, she thinks that she's just in like a crazy dream. And if we look at Crisis on Infinite Earths, right, that world like basically gets like wiped out of existence. And so when Brainiac 5 is saying goodbye to her, all that's left is like her memory of it. It's so you never existed except for in a memory. But then what's the difference between a dream and a memory, right? And we don't have the past. We don't have the future. Those are all just mind forms. All we have is right here, right now, this moment. So to all of you guys being in this special moment with me as Superwoman, thank you so much for joining me. I promise I will never leave you guys for so long again. All right. And to all of you out there living that superhero life who are called to walk that soul mission, I wish you all good fortune in all your endeavors, all the strength you need. I need to bring some tea. I mean, like honey tea, ginger tea, all that stuff. And yes, brother need his bacon. So I'll catch all of you guys tomorrow, somewhat early. And remember, you guys, it takes true courage for you to be exactly you in this cosmic game of life. So be sure to play as exactly you, because guess what? The universe is counting on you. But no worries. I got your back. Till next time, my friends.